Andrews. Jalen Williams will be joining us here in just a little bit. But Stephen A., I'm going to start with you here. You asked for urgency from the tip of this game, and we certainly saw that from OKC.
Well, listen, you definitely did. Their defense showed up from start to finish. Chet Holmgren was obviously an instant factor being in that lineup and making his presence felt. He only had 6 points in game one, had 11 by the first half. But I can't say enough about two dudes who came off their bench. We know Shea Butter and what he's going to bring to the table. He had his 34. But this kid, Aaron Williams, all right, along with Alex Caruso, particularly Aaron Wiggins, along with Caruso, and the defense that he was playing on a Pascal Siakam. Not only did he hit 4 threes and finish with 20 points, but he was D'ing up Siakam, only hit 3 of his 11 shots on the field. And this kid Wiggins came off the bench and he hit 5 threes. I mean, he was a special offensive player today. So I looked at it from that standpoint. Very impressive what we saw from Oklahoma City. It was what we anticipated we would see in game one. They gave it to us for a full 48 minutes in game two.
Look, you're right. The bench was great. The bench can win you games, and oftentimes that happens at home. It's harder on the road. And Indiana's bench, especially guys like Obi Toppin, helped them get one game here. The goal was to get one game for the Pacers. I don't think any of us thought the Pacers were going to get 2. I don't know that anybody thought they were going to get 1. But they got 1. They're getting out of here. Much better effort by Oklahoma City. Much more consistent effort. They got that lead, although they didn't blow it out. Indiana hung in there around that 15-20, but they never relinquished it. They stayed focused. They stayed disciplined. But this game 3 is going to be huge in Indiana, and we're going to see maybe Indiana's bench do what Oklahoma City's bench did. Bench can win you games. You know that, Perk. I mean, and Oklahoma City's bench was great, and we knew Shea would be great, but the bench was fantastic.
Yeah, but we didn't know Shea was going to be this great. Like, the 34 points, we know that he could put the ball in the basket, but it was the other areas. You know, we talked about him in game one being searched out in the fourth quarter defensively for those crucial baskets on him tonight. He broke it down and had stops. He had 4 steals tonight. So he was active defensively. And then when you talk about the level of growth of SGA, you talk about areas of being able to go out there and get your 34 on 50% shooting and get 8 assists. So that means that you're getting yours and making guys around you better.
This 34 felt very different than his 38 last game because so many of his teammates were involved.
Well, they were more involved because you got to remember, coming into the game in game one, they passed the ball about 207 times. That was the number. That was the least amount of ball distribution that we saw from them, or anybody for that matter, this postseason and this regular season. So they knew they had to get others involved. They had more assists in the first half than they did for the entire of game one. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just looks out there. Just look at him, Malika. He just looks like he can do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. Not pressed at all. It looks like he's barely breaking a sweat most of the time.
That's how Perkins looked when he played.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
With us.
That's a lie.
Just a little bit. That's all right. That's why we got the fan set up for you.
He got the fan in the press box.
It's warm in here. It's hot. Get up for Perk.
I'm glad that you're taking care of it with your fan, Perk. But the 48 hours, I want to ask Jayden about this when he joins us. The 48 hours between sort of a gut-wrenching finish like we saw in game one, trying to turn the page, this game could have gone either way, right? We saw, again, the intention from Oklahoma City from the jump, but really that's something that they had to prepare for.
Absolutely, because you go into a dark space. Like, after you drop a game like you did game one at the crib, you don't want to be bothered, right? And SGA talked about it. We're going to watch film, and then I'm going to let it go, but I'm going to be prepared for the next game, and we're going to be prepared for the next game. Let me tell you how I knew they was locked in. You know what I mean? I've been on my, like, FBI type stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm staying in the hotel with everybody, the Pacers and everybody. You know who else was staying at the hotel I'm staying at? The parents of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I've been seeing them. So that tells me that these guys have been locked in, because when you're locked in, hold on.
Wait a second. No. I'm trying to follow.
I really am.
We're hanging in.
If you relax and listen to a champion, then you'll know a guy who played. You don't want to be around people.
I see.
You don't want to be around people. You don't want to have a house full of people. You want to be to yourself, locked in with limiting distraction. I don't want a house full of people while I'm going through the trenches and I have to stay even killed. That's what I'm explaining.
Nobody's challenging your knowledge. We're just saying it's ABC television. You got to be quick. But that's what we're saying. That's all we just said. That's all we just said. That's all we said. That's all we said. But in the end, by the way, we're not going to have a post-game show tonight and not bring up Tyrese Halliburton. Listen, the numbers say 17. When the game counted, The man had 5. He was a complete non-factor and no-show for the first 40 minutes of this game.
He had 12 in the fourth quarter.
I mean, yeah, but it is what it is. That's what I'm pointing at.
Right. The amazing thing is, in 2 games, he's scored 31 points in 2 games. So was that like 15 and a half? Is that right? 15 and a half points a game. Is that right? For a guy that we're talking, that's surprising they get out of here with a win, to be honest. Because Halliburton hasn't been great in losses. The fact that they got a win where he had 14 points, he can't do that. By the way, they want to win the series, he can't average 15 points a game. He just can't.
I'm going to say this. OKC, we still haven't seen the best version of them yet. J-Dub didn't have his best shooting night.
Have we seen the best version of the Pacers, too?
No, I'm just saying. We said that already, Bob. We said that 1,000 times. So I'm telling you, as far as OKC, we still haven't seen a complete game from those guys either. But we got to give a lot of credit to Coach Dagno. You know what I'm saying? He coached his behind off the night with his rotations.
Absolutely.
Especially surprising them when Aaron Wiggins off the bench.
Well, let's bring in Jalen Williams now. We mentioned that he was joining us, and he is ready. He's putting on the headset as we speak. I want to make sure that he can hear us before we start. J-Dub, can you hear us down there?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciated the time. We wanted to start here. We were just discussing before you joined us the 48 hours between game 1, the way that ended. What did you all talk about? What did you all say to each other to get this urgency, the minutes in this game, too?
A lot of it just comes down to not panicking. When you get in these situations, a loss, especially at home, feels way worse than what it does throughout any other playoff game. We always talk about winning the days in between, so just going back, looking at the film, not everything's as bad or as good as it seems in the moment, and I think just being able to reflect and see what we can do to get better. Mark's really on us about getting better through the series, and we were able to do that tonight.
Jay, congratulations on tonight's win. What's different about this Pacers team compared to the competition that you guys were going through en route to going through the West to get to the NBA Finals? What's different about the Pacers compared to everybody else?
I wouldn't say anything's different competition-wise. You know what I mean? Like, everybody in the playoffs is competing their butt off. Everybody's playing desperate. I think what makes them really special is they're able to do that and not change their identity throughout the course of a game. You know, teams kind of veer off and kind of dissipate. I think they do a good job of sticking together, kind of like we do, and they just try and enforce their will on how they want to play, which makes them special.
Jalen, thanks for coming on. You talked about watching the film with your coach, Dagno. What did you see specifically that you thought was something that had to change or be different or you could learn from in game 1?
I think looking back at game 1, we had complete control of the game for a lot of it. It's just more about understanding the runs that they make. You know, they can do a 12-0 run pretty quick, and it's kind of about taking away as many easy buckets as we can. That's a team that